And one of the most current events that's coming out, I'm sure if you guys haven't seen it already, but there was a shooting in Washington, or not Washington, but Wisconsin, involving an officer who shot a guy that was walking back to his car. I guess a protest have already started. And so, man, scary and dangerous situation. And the unfortunate reality of what we're living in nowadays is that you see a bad police video, you see a use of force, whatever it may be, and then people want answers like now. And so one of the things I want to caution people on doing is, if somebody goes out there and commits a crime, whether it be a murder, assault with a deadly weapon, whatever it may be, that's not a police officer, that suspect has the right to a trial that can take forever to happen. They have the right to, due process and have a thorough investigation going on. And so the thing is that officer, whoever's involved in that use of force, they also should have that right to the same due process as anybody else, to be able to determine whether or not they're guilty or not. And the reason I say that's so important is because right now we live in a microwave society. You see a use of force video, and now they're hitting us up like, hey, is this right or is this wrong? And I get it. You guys want to know because you want to make sure that everything is okay. But at the same time, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered before we can determine whether or not this was a justified shooting or not. So, AJ, I know you saw it, man. I want to get your thoughts real quick. And Major, have you seen that video yet?
I didn't see it. I actually seen someone send a link to me, but I haven't had a chance to put my eyes on it.
It's
so
coming.
I'm looking forward to hearing more about it and you guys' perspective as well.
It's coming. I know you're going to be getting hit up with, especially since you're a candidate for governor, because people are going to want to know where your stance is on some of the issues involving law enforcement and community and stuff like that. So, and
Absolutely.
just so you know, basically what the gist of it was, you had a guy that I guess there was a domestic violence dispute that happened, and there's some guy that's trying to get involved, trying to break it up. Officers get there. When they get there, all we see in the video is this guy walking away from officers as they're trying to stop him. One of the officers has the taser out. The guy goes to get in his car, and then the officer shoots the guy in his back about 7 times. So the guy is still alive.
Oh, wow.
Last I checked. It definitely looks like a terrible video, but that's all we see from the video. So what are your thoughts?
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I did see that. I'm sorry. We did see that. I didn't hear like the sound or whatever, but Wayne was letting me know what particular video that was. We did see that this morning, so we did see it.
Man, yeah. So terrible.
But I think it's kind of like I think it's kind of like what you said though, and from your perspective, I think it's powerful because you have the duality of both perspectives. Like you're a human, you're a citizen as well, but you've also been on the side of law enforcement, so you can bridge that gap in communication effectively enough to hopefully try to put people in the right mindset to understand that this is a due process. Just like with all things, if you're a regular person and you commit a crime or alleged to commit a crime, you still have to go through a certain process. And so it's kind of like on us as regular citizens to try to go through that process as well. And it's hard because like you say, everyone wants instant results, and we're emotional at that particular moment. And we've had these mass media images portrayed that's just really been force fed to us over and over again, also through social media, to where it makes us seem like that occurrence happens 10 times per day. And so the thought process of it when it does happen is heightened even more so. And so it's a complex balance to try to have from a leadership perspective, from the police department perspective, and also from the community perspective as well too. And so it's never going to get easier when it comes to that. But what can become better is people like us, when we're using our voices and our platforms, to make sure that we're messaging to everyone, not just to a particular group or a particular side.
Boom, man. You couldn't have said it any better. What are your thoughts on that, AJ?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's frustrating to a degree because so many people, send me these videos when they first come out, which I appreciate. But what catches me off guard and what's frustrating about it are the captions and the messages that go along with the video, and the narration that people paint, and the story that they try to tell. This is a murder. This is a cold-blooded murder. It's just like, for all we know, that guy could have had a grenade in that car and he could have been reaching for it and grabbing it, and that officer could have saved a lot of people's lives by taking those actions. So it is a rough video to see, and anytime something like that happens, it's going to be rough to see. But we can't jump to conclusions, just automatically think like, well, the cops murdered this guy Because if they didn't shoot him and he grabbed an AK-47 and killed a bunch of people, then you'd be upset. Like, well, why didn't the cop shoot this guy? You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a balancing act. You just can't automatically see a video like that and be so emotionally overwhelmed that you forget you don't know all the details.
Yeah,
and the beautiful thing about it too, though, I just want to add to that is that we've had instances where we were actually able to learn from. We've seen in times where we've all at some point probably have jumped the gun to make those accusations or whatever the case may be. And so, me personally, I just want to be more responsible as a citizen when I'm looking at these social media and these mass media projections. And I don't want to be misled. I want justice. I think that's the bottom line to let people know. I think we all can agree that we want justice for the right actions.
Man,
Or
no
for
doubt
the wrong
about it.
actions.
No doubt about it, man. And you're so right on that. Both of you guys are, because, you know, we can't, like you said, there's a video, I think Officer Tatum put it out, where there's a guy that actually goes back to his car, gets a gun out, and starts shooting at the officers.
Yeah.
Was that a case?
Wow.
Was this that type of case? We don't know. And so, you know, I'm actually going to do a video today that basically talks about some of the questions that we need to ask ourselves before we can formulate an opinion. Because I think what's happening is people formulate these opinions, but they're not asking certain questions that need to be answered. And until you can get those questions answered, you got to be careful about formulating those opinions.